Hello and welcome to this next episode of the PowerChatform. I am your host, Matt Collins-Jones, and today I am blessed with two fantastic community members and two people I'm looking at. Two people I'm lucky enough to call my friends. We have the one and only Trisha Sinclair. You all know Tricia. She is a vibrant member of this community. She is very big in the omnichannel stuff, the DevOps stuff. You may have seen her talk about the Black Minds Matter and the summer camp and stuff like that. All stuff we're going to touch on today. So welcome to the show, Tricia Sinclair.
Thank you.
The other person I feel a little bit intimidated to be interviewing at this point because he is such a superstar. Andrew Bibby is the current head of the CRM UG or the D365 UG, whatever we're calling it these days in the UK. He is a staple at all these events and has been at all these events since I started going to them 5 years ago. So welcome, Andy.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
So I'd like to start off with sort of who you are and what you do in case people don't know who you are. But at this point, I don't really think there's anyone who doesn't know who you two are. But how about we start with you, Tricia? Who are you and what do you do for a living?
So who am I? I am, as you mentioned, Trisha Sinclair. I'm a pre-sales solution architect. I currently work for a large partner, DXC Technology, and being in pre-sales, it basically means I get to play with all the fun, cool stuff, piece it all together, create roadmaps, and kind of share it with customers or prospective customers. So that's what I actually do on my day-to-day. Of course, I do a lot more other things around that as well, which I'm sure we'll come into some of those.
Yeah, I always like the whole idea of pre-sales, like the whole finding those new toys as soon as you get them and seeing how you can create a solution for a customer with that. People keep talking to me about HoloLens at the moment. I'm just there like, I really want to play with a HoloLens, but I just don't have one. So that sounds like a really fun job to have.
It is. I love it.
And how about you, Andy? What do you do and who are you?
Hello. Okay, my name's Andrew Bibby. I'm an advisor on Dynamics 365 and Power Platform projects. So that's a vague enough term, isn't it?
Pretty vague.
But I basically go to customers that are implementing Dynamics 365 as most people still think of it. They don't really think of it as part of the Power Platform so much, but I try and educate them on that journey. And generally it's with customers that don't have a lot of experience with CRM, Dynamics 365. They don't have a lot of internal capability. So I help them get upskilled on working with the product. I also do quality assurance if they have a partner in, and so I look at the work that they're doing and make sure they're doing a good job. And I'm also massively passionate about change management, so I'm going to try and weave all that into the conversation at some point, which is basically how to make your project, CRM project, Dynamics, Power Platform, whatever it is, more successful, better adopted. And yeah, that's what I do during my day job. And as you mentioned, I'm also active in the user group, and we're doing things like Scottish Summit, and I like speaking, and I'm probably talking too much, so feel free to cut me off when I'm answering.
It's all good. I kind of do want to touch on one thing you said there, is that you go into a customer and you try and educate them as to like what Dynamics is and kind of what Power Platform is. I do find that a really tough part of my job at the moment. Trying to explain what Dynamics is, and then saying, and Dynamics, you build Power Apps, but Power Apps don't need Dynamics. And then there's CDS, which is Dynamics, but not Dynamics. And it's like, where do you start that conversation? Like, how do you?
So I'm actually going through this with a customer right now that they've got Dynamics 365 and they've had it for about 18 months, and they call it CRM because it is CRM to them.
Real cool.
And it's what I kind of call it as well, because that's my history, and they are using it as a customer relationship management system, and that's fine. And then you have to try and introduce them to Power Platform and say Dynamics is actually part of the Power Platform. It's kind of a Power App, and we've got these two flavors of Power App, and they've got really weird names, model-driven apps and Canvas apps. And yeah, it is a challenge, and I'm actually going through that over the past few weeks. I've been doing some training with them, following the app in the day stuff and also some other content as well. But Yeah, Microsoft don't make this easy sometimes. You have to try and kind of just explain it in terms that they will understand and they can relate to. So yeah, I feel you, and it's been the same for the last couple of years ever since Power Platform came along. Microsoft probably haven't done a great job at really taking people along on the journey. They're always kind of looking, far ahead onto the horizon, and not really looking so much backwards at all the people that are following along.
Yeah, I think that is a good place to start from in terms of educating people, but it doesn't. It's just kind of it's a moving target at all points. So it's just one of those things of trying to hit that target at the right point. Because as you say, we kind of lovingly refer to it as CRM. Then it was CE, and now it's just first-party apps. So it's like where to start, really. So
if you remember like who you're talking to, a lot of these customers, they don't know what apps are in general. So like it's basically coming like, because I have to do this as well. Like when you're doing demos, you have to explain, okay, what exactly is a Power Platform? Where do Power Apps come in? And then you actually then have to introduce dynamics to them. So like what I do is I explain what the Power Platform is in terms of the collaboration between like the 4 main products, obviously, Power Apps, Power Virtual Agent, etc. And then I take a step further and say, okay, but we've already got feature-rich first-party apps that Microsoft provide, and they each provide a particular business scenario that will accompany it. So that's how I bring it in, because to be honest, for a customer, do they really need to know, oh yeah, you've got Canvas apps and then you've got no, not until they're actually ready to start taking themselves on that journey and actually start building apps for themselves. Then they're going to be open enough to trying to understand, okay, what's a Canvas app versus what's a model-driven app. But to be honest, most people, they just need to know that there is such a thing called Power Apps that allows them to do all these amazing, fantastical things. And yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And I think what you're right there with what you said is that you kind of have to start from the beginning. So how about we start with your beginnings? So Tricia, tell me how you became a pre-sales consultant. How did you start in this crazy world that we kind of call Dynamics and the Power Platform?
Oh, wow. So basically for me, my journey started in a small CRM company, because you graduate from uni and you're like, what do I do? So I actually went back home to Jamaica and I was like, okay. So then I started applying, and then the opportunities I was getting was actually in the UK. So I basically booked a couple of interviews, jumped on a flight, interviewed, and the first job that I actually took was at a CRM company, and I never studied. But oddly enough, like I think it's come full circle. I think you know what I'm going to say, because they sent me on a CRM user group meeting, and guess who was there front and center but Mr. Bibby. So
really?
Yeah, you were there.
I
Like
didn't know
my
that.
first user group session, like it was you and Scott Giro. And like it's always like, oh my gosh, like these are like the people. And I remember talking to my boss at the time saying, I really want to speak at one of these events. I actually had it on my personal, your personal objectives. I was gonna speak at an event, and they also had these magazines, because I actually wanted to be a journalist, and my dad was like, there's no money in journalism and I'm not sending you to school to do journalism to waste my money. So I didn't get to do that. I did IT instead. But I was like, okay, maybe I can combine them. And then I submitted to write for the CRM UG magazine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is how far back this is. They had a magazine. I don't know if that magazine's still around, but I haven't seen it.
I saw it like last year or so.
Wow.
Maybe in Amsterdam.
Yeah. But then like basically from then, and then obviously you kind of go through the ranks: support, technical consultant, etc., architect. And then it's like, okay, what next? Because when I got to this position where like I didn't really know what to do with myself, and like I needed more, because to be honest, I was stuck on a CRM 2016 project, and and those long projects, and you're not really getting to do anything, and like on the side of playing with all this cool stuff. And then I interviewed at DXC, but I actually interviewed at DXC as an architect, and the person that interviewed me wasn't the person that was supposed to interview me because he had gone on holiday, and she was like, I want you in my team. This is what we do. I do pre-sales. You're going to have all this opportunity. And it literally just turned my neck, and I never stopped.
So you were stolen from someone?
I was effectively stolen from the delivery team.
Wow.
To this day, it's still like a thing where, oh, Trisha, don't you want to come back to delivery? So I'm like in the middle. Yeah. Being in the middle where I get to go into delivery projects sometimes to advise, but then I'm still technically pre-sales.
I always loved like pre-sales people that you meet them and they're building all the new cool stuff and they're putting the bits of the jigsaw together and they get to play with all the good stuff, like people like Chris, other people I've worked with like in my career, and I always fancied pre-sales but never quite got there, other than filling in RFP documents. Which is a boring side.
Not fun. Those are not fun.
I think the problem for me is that I'm terrible at sales in general. So I could go into pre-sales and show someone a really great demo and say, oh, look at all these things, you can do this, and there's AI, and there's all these things. But then they'll be like, and how much does it cost? And like, well, you need licenses, and then you need these, and this will be this much, and then you do all this. And then I can just see like the salesperson in the corner just like tapping his foot and like stamping on my foot, like, stop saying all these truth things to the customer. Just sell them the dream, don't sell them the reality.
That's the thing, MCJ. I think there's a misconception of what pre-sales is. I always see like my role is to be an assistant to the salesperson, be their technical fairy, if that makes sense. So like I tell the customer, even if they might not want to hear it, yeah, this is what you need. But anything pricing, anything project related, I'm stepping away. That's not my role. Like I leave that to the salesperson to deal with. Although to be honest, I end up having to sort the licensing out behind the scenes anyhow. But still, because you still want to be on the customer's good side. You should have that rapport with the customer to allow them to kind of confide in you, their problems and stuff. But if they're seeing you as, they always give you bad news, they're not going to. So you have to keep that alignment very, very clear in terms of the salesperson have their own relationship, they're commercial. You have your relationship. You are all about the art of the possible, what they actually want. Not building the dream, but building the actual possible reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. So Andy, how about you? How did you start off in this industry?
How long have you got?
As like you may like, it's one of the things. Every time I meet you, you look younger, even with the beard.
Oh God!
Yeah, Benjamin Button.
Not when I look in the mirror. Okay, so I started way back when. My background is as a developer, and I came out of university and I kind of looked around about what I wanted to do, and I knew that I could get a job being a developer. And actually, I'd learned some stuff at university, some developer stuff, and I thought, that's quite fun. I can build Windows apps back in the day before they were called apps, and so I got a job pretty quickly. It was well paid and everything was good. And then I kind of progressed through that junior developer, and eventually into sort of building web apps when all that came along with .NET and ASP.NET, and did that for a couple of years. And then I came across a small partner in the Midlands in the UK, and they were looking for a developer that got like a web development background to build some CRM stuff. And I'd heard about it, and actually I'd looked at CRM 1.2 back in the day for a really big building society in the UK. But yeah, so they came along, and actually I'm still friends with the people that I met there, which was in 2007. And they're still involved in the industry, and they're still they've moved around, I've moved around, but it's still good to see them. And I started off building extensions basically for CRM3.
Wow.
Which was very kind of dev heavy.
Yeah.
You had to do loads of unsupported stuff that you can't do anymore. But I got into it, and I started thinking, okay, I spent years like spending ages building forms, building web apps, and then you've got to build like the data tier and then security into it and business logic and all this kind of stuff. And then suddenly I came along and CRM basically had all of this stuff, coming out of the box, and you could drag some fields onto a form, simple days. But I just felt like, my God, like so much of the effort that I put into and redoing this every single time, whenever I build a web app, is already here. I think there's probably something in this. And I was at that partner for about 18 months in the end. And about a year through, I was on a contract, and about a year into it, I remember thinking, actually, like, I think I'm going to stick with this. Because I just read about Microsoft investing a huge amount of money into Dynamics. It wasn't even Dynamics, it was Microsoft CRM. And then the next version was coming out, version 4. And I thought, actually, this is really, really niche. But if I can stick with it and there are enough jobs around, I can probably, to be honest, charge some more money and do something I actually like doing, rather than just generic web apps. So I stuck with it. I moved to another partner, and I stayed with them for a long time, working on many different projects, and kind of just grew from there, really. So went from being a web developer to a CRM developer to a more of a sort of solution architect role, and then consulting and all of that stuff. And then about 5 years ago, I switched to working with customers that were putting Dynamics in, and having been a little bit jaded by the partner world and seeing how they treat customers and stuff like that. No disrespect to any partners here. Some partners treat customers. I kind of felt like, actually, there's so many customers that don't really have a clue what's going on. They don't really understand what their partner's doing. They don't really know, how to get the best out of Dynamics. And so I moved into I moved to a customer on their side, basically. I was sort of poacher turned gamekeeper, working across a really big project for several years, and looking at what the partner was doing, and also helping the customer understand like what they could do, and just really enjoyed it. And then I've been with customers ever since, and so now I move sort of from project to project. I've got a few projects on at the moment, being an advisor, and where they don't have experience in house, and they're looking for sort of customers looking for like an independent view. Or a second opinion sometimes. That's where I get involved. But I like it. I like my job. So can't complain.
Yeah, no, it's a good job. It's kind of, when I talk to people, it's how a lot of people try and get into this industry. Is just kind of, they look at it and they go, do you know what? I think I could spin this into a career. I think this is something that I'm not ashamed to put on a CV. Although I think we all have the same thing of like, how do you explain your job to people usually sort of thing? I remember going to restaurants and someone saying, oh, so what do you do for a living? Like the waiter trying to make small talk as I'm paying. I'm just there like, this will take too long. I work in IT.
Consultant.
Wait, literally.
Yeah, I'm in IT. Yeah, that's it.
That's just it.
Yeah. So, but I know I will not fix your computer is my other response. So are you guys working on anything cool right now? I'm working on a big project that involves like integrations with SharePoint and Teams and Azure apps. But what are you guys working on right now? Tricia, anything good in the pipeline? HoloLens?
Well, to be honest, I do work with HoloLens. We may or may not have sold a deal with HoloLens and remote assisting guides. So that was fun. The thing is, like, for my role, like, I do kind of play around with quite a few different things. So we're working on like field service, connected field service at the moment. Just finished one, as I mentioned, with like remote assist and guides. We're trying to obviously go more into the customer service omni-channel space. But to be honest, we've done quite a few there. So that was cool. Like I don't have anything in particular because like I like to say like I'm very broad, not deep.
Yeah.
Like I have a broad-based knowledge, but like it might not be deep in all the areas. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because a couple of things that you are kind of synonymous with in this community are omnichannel and DevOps. And my question was going to be, are those two things something that you decided to focus on and kind of learn, or were they just kind of a byproduct of a lot of the projects that you were selling at the moment?
So DevOps is actually Mark Christie's fault.
Okay. Blame him for everything. It's fine.
So I remember when I did my first ever speaking engagement, it was for D365 Dublin. And it was because I was pretty much sent there, and he asked, are you free? Are you interested? And I was like, okay, I've never done this, but sure. But the topic was already chosen, and it was PSA. Yeah, so it wasn't like my favorite topic. And I struggled a little bit, and it wasn't well attended, shall we say? And I was literally just not going to do it anymore. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so hard. I didn't know. It was a learning curve. It's a steep learning curve, because how you present to customers and to prospects is totally different to how you present to your peers, how you present to like the rest of the community. And I did not learn that as yet. So basically, Mark called me after, and he was like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. You need to find something that you're passionate about, that you will enjoy speaking about, that you can take other people on your journey with you. And then I thought about it, and he was like, I don't care what it is, you're speaking at D365 Scotland. I'm like, oh, but I don't know. And he's like, no, you're speaking. And I was like, okay, I'll give you my topic. I'll let you know. So 2 weeks later, I called him. I was like, I've got it. DevOps. And the reason for DevOps is because, to be honest, DevOps is something I learned by myself. I didn't learn it at uni. I didn't learn it from someone else teaching me. It was basically, I got stuck on a project for a very large, parking, company,
Yeah.
will remain nameless. And that project was so riddled with change requests, because we had a lot of moving parts. And yeah, we had documentation, but it was moving at such a pace, and it was moving with so many different people that we were using ADO, we were using Visual Studio Team Services at the time, but we were just using it as a source control. But when I started looking into it, you could do so much more with it. And that's basically what I started doing. Like I started to implement boards. Well, it wasn't known as boards and back then, because now it's modularized, but I started to implement like the requirements and started to actually hook the requirements into to the code, and then started to build out the processes inside of what's now known as ADO, but it wasn't. And then we started to actually do the whole pipelines and it's literally through myself learning and constantly trolling those boards and TechNet and learning about how to put the things together. Yeah. That's how I learned it. And I was like, if someone else, and I started looking around, I'm like, why is everyone just focusing on automated deployments? Like, it's great, but why is literally no one focusing on how to actually streamline and reduce the amounts of trash that we get in projects from the start? So that's basically where I started saying, okay, that's what I want to talk about. I want to basically bring ADO into non-developer people to let them know this exists for you too. This is how you can get started. This is how you can kind of ensure adoption, reduce change, not reduce change requests, but reduce defects. Maybe it'll increase change requests, but it will create more quality on your projects, right? So that's where I got into ADO. And Omni is, I don't know, I've always had this thing for Omni. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah. Because my first ever job that wasn't tech was actually in a call center.
All right.
Yeah, I actually used to be one of those agents on the call and like fully trained. Like if you ever had an egg card, if you ever had to call, BT because your internet was down, like the BT service desk, that was me.
That was you.
So
it gives you a view, doesn't it? I've done plenty of jobs like that, but it gives you that the view of the other side, which helps you
exactly.
now.
Yeah. So what I do is I look at how it felt as an agent, what I wish I had as an agent, like the experience as an agent. And then that's what I'm looking for when I heard of Omni. I'm like, okay, does it have this? Does it have this? Does it have this? Can we piece it together? Does it help? You know? So that's basically my vision into why I'm doing Omni. But I do other things as well. It's just those are the only two main things I find.
Oh, yeah, it's like me. Like people call me the flow guy or the guy that knows Power Automate. It's like I can do all the stuff. I can do a Canvas app, you know.
Everyone gets typecast.
Yeah. Well, it's also one of those ideas of like if you focus on something, people know you for that thing, and you become more infamous from it, sort of thing. But
It's funny because within DXC, within DXC, I'm known as for ADO, yes. I'm known for Omni, but more often I'm actually known for CFS, Connected Field Service.
Oh, okay.
So there's a CFS deal, then I'm the person that does it. So yeah, I guess it just depends on who you're talking to and where you are, then but you're typecast.
Yeah. No, yeah. But now I know who's come to for Connected Field Service and all the issues that I'm having with my Azure DevOps. So and speaking of it, I know someone that does a lot of change management. So Andy, is there anything cool that you're working on, or is it more sort of change management at the moment and advising still? Yeah.
Like nothing as cool as pre-sales. You know, you get to play with all the new toys, and I'm very jealous of that. Because most of the customers that I work with are years behind. You know, they're still, like I said, you know, looking for CRM systems, and actually I work with a couple of customers that are just moving to the cloud. Like they've been on-prem and they're going through that on-prem to online migration, which is good. And it at least that helps you kind of, you know, that's opening their eyes. That's showing them what could be possible. And actually, now that you're online, look at all these other things that you can do, and you can tie into what you're doing. So I think that's interesting. I don't, like I say, I don't get to play with all the new cool stuff. I have, like, I mainly work with financial services companies. I also do some non-profit stuff, but it's mainly focused around like sales, or at least a version of sales where they need to use that lead to opportunity kind of life cycle. And so things like sales insights, I think are really, really good. And I've spent some time on that. And I like the focus that Microsoft have got on adding value to the salesperson's experience, or bringing in new functionality. Like they're working on a field sales app at the moment. No, that's out there. That's in the world. That's fine. No, quick check. But yeah, so that sort of thing where I feel like, because now Microsoft are focused on like verticals of functionality rather than Dynamics as a whole, they're then starting to add new stuff like sales insights, like, you know, field sales, and they can do that to try and differentiate from the competition. So that's good stuff. Change management wise, I actually talk about it more than I do it, to be honest, because it is such, I found, particularly with Dynamics projects, it is such a the industry is in its infancy, and it will be one of those things that in 10 years time everybody's doing this type of stuff. But right now it is kind of a tough sell to actually tell companies that they need to spend so much more effort getting their impacted people ready, not just users but impacted people ready for this new system, you know, for this change that they're bringing in. And that starts right now. That starts before you started building stuff. That starts, you know, as soon as you possibly can, and it carries on all the way through the project. And that requires effort and resources and money. But at the end of the day, it's a proven way to have a more successful project. Absolutely proven way. If you want to have a successful project, do some change management. That's it. You know, there's 20 years of research have gone into that statement. The more change management you do, the more successful your project will be. The more successful your project is, the more you make that money back that you've been spending on your project. You know, there's this lovely curve of spend, and it goes, into the negative for ages while you're building stuff and you're delivering your project. And then you might hit the positive when you start going live with your project and you're actually making money back from all those efficiencies you get from that new system. And then if you do it well, that goes up and up and up. And you actually see that return on investment that you proposed when you went to get the budget for the project in the first place. Otherwise, if it flattens off and people don't use the system, it's wasted money, really. It's hundreds of thousands of pounds at least, on most projects down the drain. So it's super important, and that's why I get really passionate about it.
Do you think that with the sort of rise of agile and Scrum Agile methodologies, that we'll see great user adoption of that whole change management piece, whereas you can deliver something small in a small space of time and people can see that value more instantly, as long as they're still keeping up with the rest of the change management in terms of, training, documentation, everything else to go along with it. Because usually I find agile is very much a short and sharp thing. People see value, but we don't tend to see a lot of the rest of the governance that goes along with change management.
Yeah, I think it is a tricky one. That's a really big question. I think you can obviously use change management because it wraps around the project, right? So it doesn't matter if you waterfall, agile, something in between, which is where most people get to. It's all about having those people that are impacted by your new system ready and willing to use it. So I do think agile works really well with Dynamics projects, to think about Dynamics rather than sort of Power Platform, because you can make changes very quickly. It can be fairly low code. And you can deliver value very quickly because a lot of it's already there. So it works from that perspective. Whether that really meshes with change management just because it's agile, probably not. But it's all about, even if you're delivering quickly, it's all about making sure that people that are receiving that thing are actually ready and willing to use it. So I think it's interesting, but it's all about, I feel like, project management. Nobody would start a big project without loads of project management, would they? And they'd do loads of planning up front. But you've got to do the same with change management. And we're in this place at the moment where that's not really appreciated. And in years' time, change management will be treated in the same sort of way as project management. And just nobody would start a project without a group of people that are dedicated to making sure that this lands really well, and everyone gets their money back, and everyone gets a pay rise, and everyone gets a promotion. Like, why wouldn't you do that? It's kind of obvious. But to your question, I don't think it's about agile in particular. No,
that's good idea. So Trisha, one of the things that we were kind of talking about at the start, and where I kind of introduced you, was earlier this year. It's still this year, still 2020, not out of it yet. Earlier this year, you approached myself and a couple of the members of the community about doing a Power Platform summer camp for the Black Lives Matter charity here in the UK. Tell me a little bit about Black Minds Matter, what they do, and what we did with the summer camp, and what your plans are going forward.
So Black Minds Matter, who they are, is a charity based in the UK. They're based in South London, Wandsworth to be exact. They focus on different age groups of the Black community, Black Nation community, and their purpose is to ensure the mental health of these communities, whether that be supporting them through ensuring that they're aligned with the type of person eludes me, but my counselors, my mom's always on me about, you need a counselor, so it's just taken from my head. But basically, like, they ensure that they're aligned with like different counselors, but different also introduce them to different initiatives, because unfortunately there's certain things that are aligned with that community, and it's kind of like they tend to be associated to a particular socioeconomic status. How they can escape from those situations is to provide opportunities that they're able to take, leverage, and build on. So in the light of the Black Lives Matter movement, the George Floyd murder, what we then did was we then took it, and I saw an opportunity to create something, the opportunity to basically, what I could do is share my knowledge and share my community with this community and allow them to take it and improve on their situation. So that's pretty much what happened. We had a conversation. I had a conversation with like Bibbs and yourself and other members of the community. And through that, we created a training program to train everyone on the Power Platform with Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, etc. But also we did other essential skills like change management. Yes, Bibbs, we did have change management. Product management, the Power Platform adoption framework that was done by Andrew Welch. And then we also had mentors as well, because it's not enough that you just learn something. You kind of do need someone in your corner fighting for you, making sure that you are making the right decisions, making the right moves, providing that guidance. And that's basically why I wanted them to also have mentors that they could take and leverage during the program and after the program that will kind of help them navigate the community, navigate IT, and navigate, to be honest, the world if they needed it, because not everyone would go into IT, not for the first batch anyhow. So that was the idea, and that's what we actually did. At the end of it, we had this amazing hackathon. I really enjoyed it. And that's basically where all the mentees came together along with the rest of the community, and they built out different solutions that were needed in the Black community. And these solutions were actually the brainchild of Black Minds Matter themselves. So they came up and they identified these are things that we need for the community. So we created those solutions, and now what we're actually doing with the solutions that were built from the hackathon is re-estimating them so we can actually then try to put it into an actual working project, knowing that this is something that's viable. So that's basically where, so it's not been forgotten. We're actually recreating them into an actual proper project now. So that's great. And then there are members of the mentee program that actually really took to the Power Platform, took to the community, want to get involved. And what we've done is we've shared their CVs out with partners. And now they're in talks to, actually get jobs from it. And the hope is that they will. Obviously, the rest of the students, well, they've gone on to university. The idea, though, is that they want to carry on learning. In the light of the situation, though, realistically, I spoke to them last week, and this is how I know. It's a struggle because of the amount of work that they have with the universities right now with COVID. How the universities seem to be getting around it is they're just sending a lot of homework. So they're not really getting much time to play around with it, but they still have it. The beauty about it is they still have it on their brain, oh, we want to. So they have a list of the things that they want to do. They've even signed up for the Scottish Summit. They've signed up for other, events that are being run so they can actually still try to keep abreast of the changes and what's happening. So when they do get a chance to go back in, then they can. So that's where it's going. We are going to run the program again. The program is going to run again in March. It was going to be February, but we've had to push it to March in light of the Scottish Summit, which is in February. We don't want to clash with that, so we've moved it to March. And we've had to extend the program because of the interest from other charities. So now we're also working not only with Black Minds Matter, but with the Black Women's Coalition, which is another charity that is focused towards empowering Black women. So they saw it, they want to get involved, and they've asked if they could also provide mentees as well. So we're going to also be working with them as well.
Awesome. That's really awesome work. I mean, I really enjoyed my small participation in it and my small delivery of Power Automate in a day. And Yeah, they were all just so interested in it. Like, they were asking questions, they were engaged, they were trying things, they were running into problems. I remember I came back from lunch and two of them were troubleshooting a problem together rather than just waiting around for me to sort of come back and give them the answer to it. And it was very inspiring to sort of see people want to do that. I'm so used to delivering corporate training sessions to people that just kind of like nod and go, well, this is my life now, and I need to know how to click this button and click that button. And when you actually have people engaged and asking questions and wanting to do something, it's kind of, it charges you up and empowers you to keep doing this stuff. So
Yeah.
if you need me again, you know where I am.
Oh yeah, you're in the, like, I didn't ask, but you are actually in the next,
on the agenda. Okay.
Like, you're already there.
That's fine. I'm good. I'm good with that. Anything to help you. I know better than to try and say no to you. It's like, it's always just say yes. When Tricia calls, you pick up the phone and go, yes, whatever it is, yes.
Good.
So Bibby, you are the current CRM UG D365 UG UK leader, the pillar of our community. You've taken on some pretty big shoes from your predecessors. So Sarah Critchley, who moved to Canada recently, and then before her, Adam Vero, who I know because he delivered some training sessions for my company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he did training, and then I found the CRM UG because I was just, I don't know, somewhere someday, LinkedIn or Twitter, and I found a post about it and then looked up what it was and saw Adam's name and emailed him and said, hey, can I come to this thing? And he's like, yeah, it's free, but like, maybe bring a customer if you can. And I was like, okay. So the first time I met you was about 5 years ago. Saw you was about 5 years ago now, and it was at a CRM UG where Adam was still running the show, back before he's trying to go into his semi-retirement or hibernation or whatever Adam's doing these days, and just saw you and, I say young Sarah Critchley, she's still young, and young Stuart Jarrah, he's still young, delivering these awesome sessions, and it was the first time I was introduced to community. And the thing that really gets me about it is that was my first introduction of all these people talking and being really passionate about things. But at the same event, Adam was giving out awards at that event.
Okay.
And he gave you an award for like best, I think it was like sort of like best
social secretary. Yeah, it was social something or other. Yeah. It was, I've still got it. It was something like best socializer or something ridiculous. Because basically, I kind of got into the user group through, I was going to say the back door, but it wasn't quite. But I didn't come in to speak because that scared the life out of me, basically. And so when I got involved, and actually since I started with CRM, this is again back in the mists of time. I started looking around, having come from a .NET background, and there was a community already. And I came into CRM and I was like, well, okay, what events can I go to? And there were just none in the UK. And that was the same for a few years. And actually, shout out to Neil Benson, who, when he lived in the UK, Tricia, you may know this already, but he he had started up a CRM user group in the UK, and it kind of founded, but anyway, somehow I found out that Adam was running this thing, and I went along to drinks the night before, basically, because I thought, hey, how can I get to meet people without it being too scary? It was in Reading, and went along to the pub, just said hello, met a few people. It was probably a dozen of us, and met Adam and got chatting, met Scott. Actually, I'd known Scott years before anyway. And then kind of fell into that, just organising the social side of it, basically, and organising the dinner. We decided to make it into a dinner and drinks, and we had a great time. Every time we met up, we had a great time. It's a really easy way to meet people, and you can have a beer, and it's all very low stress and everything else. And that's how I kind of finagled my way into the user group. And then because I was there on the day, I was kind of, I knew Adam and Scott, and they were organizing things. And I just eventually did a talk, scared the life out of myself, but kind of got the bug for speaking and went from there, really. And then over the years, kind of spoke a bit more, got more involved in the organizing, a bit less on the social side, although I still ended up doing the social as well. And before I knew it, Sarah was leaving, and everybody else took a step back. And I was there. Yeah, no, we did talk about it, and I was keen to, take the reins and see where it could go. And then, obviously, ever since then, actually, that was back in November, and we haven't had an in-person. Have we had an in-person event?
No,
I don't think we've had an in-person event since, like a user group event in the UK. So that was great. So just completely switched to virtual, which has gone pretty well, to be honest. Although I think, a year in almost, people are getting a little bit burned out by all the virtual events, and there's obviously a lot of them as well. So it is a bit of a challenge now, kind of bringing together all those people and getting a good audience and everything else. But yeah, we've got one coming up. I must give it a plug. And Trisha's involved in organising that as well. You speak at them all the time, the user groups. But yeah, we've got one coming up on the 2nd of December. So we've already got a brilliant agenda for that, 15 speakers. Some really, really well-known guys and girls, and they're talking about lots and lots of different topics. So if anybody's watching this and is interested, sign up on d365ug.com/UK and register there. But yeah, that should be a fun day. It's all day, which is what we used to do in person, but we're doing it virtually. And yeah, it's good fun normally. It's a bit different, but fun.
It's loads of fun. Like, I remember, so the thing for me was you're actually to blame for me speaking at events, so that's why you can't shut me up at the moment. I remember being in it was one of those little Italian places just on the river, and it was me, you, Chris, and a couple other people. And you were talking to me about it, and it's like, why don't you speak at events? And I said, well, I don't think I've really got much to say. Like, I do some stuff with word templates, and word templates are pretty good, but I think I'm the only person that thinks so. And you just turned to me and you said, everyone's got a story to tell, and at least one person wants to hear it. So if you put a talk in, someone will want to hear it.
And you know what? I got that from Adam. Adam. Yeah. Kind of passed that on as like our doctrine, basically, like, because it's so easy. And I had the same thing, like, what am I going to talk about? Nobody's interested in what I've got to say, but there's always somebody, and if they're not interested, they don't come. And so it's pre-selected audience, really. Exactly. But yeah, I don't take any credit for that, but I'm glad you did.
No, I do. And yeah, you can't shut me up now.
I love that, though. I love the fact that, like, everyone, it's you see where it's starting. Adam probably got it from someone else, and that to be honest is what I love about the community, that everyone just inspires other people to join, and like it gets better because the more people, the more like diverse, the more inclusive this community is, like the more it just gets so much better. So I just love that. I love that story.
Yeah, totally. And like, I remember meeting you at user group events, Tricia. And I've always felt it's kind of it's part of why I'm involved in the user group. It's not just fun to speak and stuff, but it's fun to help people get together. It's fun to help people pass on their knowledge. And I've always felt like it is such a welcoming community. The user group is so welcoming. And I've never experienced it anywhere else. And it's given me so much in terms of my life. And I have this great group of people that I get to hang out with, every week or in person whenever we get to do that. And it's just absolutely enriched my life. And in a way that I never thought it would. And we can stand around and talk about dynamics, which I can't do with anybody else. And it's another benefit of coming along to user groups and getting involved in stuff. I just feel like it's not going to be like that for everybody, but for those people that take a little step and decide to put themselves out there a bit, as we all have along the way somewhere, the rewards are really big.
Yeah. because like coming in as an immigrant, because technically I am an immigrant, like I don't have friends, like native friends that I grew up with here. Some people are like, oh my gosh, why do you speak so much? Why do you do this so much? Well, I'm like, well, to be honest, the people that I look up to, the people that I hang out with, they're all doing it. So I want to do it too because I want to emulate. I want to emulate like you. I want to emulate like Mark. I want to emulate like these people that like I really, really like hanging out with, and they're doing amazingly. You want to do amazingly too. You want to hang out with people that you want to kind of be like. So I just think it's great. So like this is kind of like my friendship group in the UK.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's certainly another group of friends for me, and it is that thing that John Levesque at Scottish Summit actually last year. Jesus, no, it's this year in February. He said he had this like mantra of "we rise by lifting others," and that really struck home with me. Is that is what, for me, what community is all about. You know, if I can help anybody else get involved and see actually the richness and the friendship that you can have here, why wouldn't I want to support that? And that builds our community. It makes, I've met so many people through our community that are now friends, and that makes my life better too. So it's definitely a two-way street.
Oh, absolutely, and it's just
the we rise by uplifting others. That's also the motto of Black Minds Matter. Like, no.
Okay.
So when I saw that they had it as their motto, I was like, this is Kismet. Like, yeah,
totally.
Yeah. This is Kismet.
I reeled the phrase as well. Quick question. Who was a tougher boss to work for, Adam or Sarah?
Me?
Yeah.
It was never like that, we are obviously Sarah. Obviously, I hope you're watching this, Sarah.
I'll send
who do I not want to piss off? Sarah. But no, it's always been like, and this is actually something I got from Sarah. If I took one thing from Adam, it was that, and if I took one thing from Sarah, it was several things, but one of them was this is not an unpaid second job, and so I'm not the boss, you wasn't the boss, Adam wasn't the boss, we're all in this together. Really, you need somebody to steer the ship, lead the organization of the user group and things like that. Probably spend far too much time not delegating, which is exactly what I do, and that's what Sarah did and it's what Adam did. So I'm following that tradition. But no, it's never anybody saying you need to do this, you need to do that. It's we're in it together, and everyone's a volunteer. And as Tricia knows, we all kind of try and spread the load as much as we can. So it's just a nice organisation to be involved with.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. Me, Joe, and Dirk up in Manchester. So it is. And if anyone wants to get involved, just let us know.
Yeah.
The other thing that both of you are known for in the community is pub quizzes. And I warned you coming into this that you'd be quizzed, and I kind of hoped you would just assume that it just meant, about who I am and everything else.
Exactly.
Nope, sorry. I'm wearing my fanciest non-sparkly t-shirt because I don't have a red sparkly jacket like some people. You're actually down as Tricia Sinclair in my phone, Tricia. That's how you're saved in my phone. So
trivia. I actually, like Keegan and I did try to find red sparkly dresses to go with the red sparkly jacket. We're still on the lookout. So if anyone has seen a red sparkly dress or even a red sparkly tuxedo jacket, please let us know. We will buy.
Yeah. So I have a series of questions, and there's only 5 questions, and there's a tiebreaker question as well. So what I'll do is I'll ask all the questions. The quiz master is always right, whether or not he's right or not. What we always
stupid
say.
Rule is that?
I don't know. So the quiz master is always right. There's only 5 questions. So we'll start with the first one.
Hang on a sec.
I don't know whether you want to write down answers or whether you just want to remember them. You've got that. It's on a hanger and everything.
Yeah,
it's right there.
Hanger.
I can't put it on because it'll be way too hot. It's the cheapest jacket in the world. But there he is. It's going to bring me luck.
And it's glistening as well. It's like shiny.
Don't get too distracted, Trisha. This is a competition. This is serious competition. There's prizes. There's no prizes.
It's like a badger quiz.
Yeah,
the prize is the respect of your peers.
Yeah. So it's
Whatever
Trisha v. Andy. Let's see who the winner is. So question number 1.
What do we do? What do we do? Do we write it down?
So write them down. I'll go through the answers at the end.
Okay,
if you've got a pen to hand, or if you just want to remember them, I'll basically ask you what your answers are. So question number 1: what year was Microsoft CRM 1.0 first released?
You know what? What's annoying about this? I've had this question on my quiz, and I can't remember what it is.
At least do multiple choice. We're nicer than this.
No multiple choice.
Andrew, next time we're not doing multiple choice. If this is how it is,
no charity for MCBA.
Well, I mean, Andy was giving you a clue earlier. He was doing, CRM 3.0 development in 2007. So
I know. I'm using that to kind of backdate a bit.
Backwards.
But then
I'm going to be really annoyed at myself for this.
I've been honestly since I did the. Not sure whether you guys watched the episode with me, Chris and Emma, but doing the random "what animal is this?" and hearing Chris just shout "badger" every 5 minutes. This is the most fun I've had prepping for an interview. Okay, question number 2. Microsoft have a campus in Seattle. Which famous coffee chain featuring a mermaid on its logo was also founded in Seattle? Or was founded in Seattle?
I have an unfair advantage.
That you've been to Seattle?
I've been to the original coffee shop.
Oh. One day, Trisha. One day we'll go.
Can I call it?
Where's Sarah?
This. I will not concede.
You can guess that one.
You can get. Yeah, it's a pretty. I made that one as easy as I could.
I just couldn't resist the joke. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 3. What was the code name for Dynamics 365, aka version 9? Dynamics.
You're killing me now.
Again, I chose a recent one.
No, because I have looked at all of these things on Wikipedia. There is a page on Wikipedia for my own questions when I've been doing my quiz at places like, I'm pretty sure I had this one in Dublin.
No, it wasn't this one that you had. It was a previous version.
CRM 4. I remember CRM 4.
Yeah. Well, that's why I chose CRM 9.
Damn it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I haven't got a clue.
So I had fun looking at these questions. I know now why you guys do so many pub quizzes.
CRM 11.
Do you know what you could do? So isn't there a pub quiz like on Thursday at the Badger? So this episode's not going to come out until probably next week. So just reuse these questions.
Yeah.
For Thursday.
I'm writing them down. Don't worry. I'm writing them down.
I'll at least get some. Okay. Question number 4. How many major versions of Dynamics CRM have been released?
So this one is heavily contested.
So it's not
heavily contested.
Easy.
If Ben Bulmer is listening, he's literally shouting as we speak to Andy.
So I've always contested this question.
The origination of the Quizmaster is always right is as a result probably of this question and Ben Bulmer, because he argued the life out of this one.
So I've said released publicly.
Yeah.
So released publicly that you can install or you can use. Okay.
I like that. I like that precision.
That's the precision.
Just Googling the question. Hang on a second.
I'm writing them down. Hold on. Wait. Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, I'm so good. Question 3.
Are we looking on-prem or are we looking online? Does it really matter?
Just major versions that were released publicly. So you could access in any way publicly.
Okay. I think I'm ready. I think
Okay,
no.
Question number 5, as a tiebreaker question, closest to the pin wins. When is my birthday?
MCJ.
See, you guys have both known me for several years.
Shit. I'm sure I've said, excuse me. I'm sure I've.
It's all right.
Your happy birthday.
There's an explicit.
So this is the trick with community birthdays. You always wake up, you look on Twitter, and then you'll know whose birthday it is because you'll just see all the birthday wishes, and then you just basically say happy birthday.
Yeah.
Is that really bad?
No. But I mean, like, it's what we do with, like, Facebook as well.
Yeah, I'm not on Facebook, so I don't even know.
Okay.
I came off Facebook before the social dilemma.
I've not seen it yet. I need to watch it.
Okay, hold on. So which like, what do you, are you more like a lion or are you more like a
fishing?
What do I?
Are you more of an August or are you more of a July?
What do I look like? How do I act? More split personality or more like aggressor?
Are you giving me a hint?
No, I'm just messing with you. Okay. So it's closest to it wins, just in case it's a draw. Okay. So that is. So I'll take closest in either direction. So I'll
really
go
flattering, like something really flattering. Like you look 18, 19.
Oh, I don't need the year.
And not age.
Like day and month.
Okay.
So
yeah, I thought I could flatter you in terms of you look so young.
Oh no, it doesn't work with me. I know I look old. So, but, I should have that.
As young as Andy. Andy just looks like Benjamin Button. Is that his new name?
I think he's got a picture of Dorian Gray hanging somewhere.
You know what? We've been away from each other like for too long because when you see me in person, did you ever used to watch Ren and Stimpy? When they'd have a picture and then they would zoom into the picture and it was like,
terrible, creepy,
crusty. Yeah, that's what I look like in
real life. I know I got one of these right. The rest is just.
Yeah, we're going to fall out over this, MCJ. Because I've got one right.
One right.
So question number 1: what year was Microsoft's CRM first released? Tricia? What was your guess?
First? Okay.
You have to share what you wrote down.
2004. Ooh, any movement on that, Andy?
I was going to say 2003.
January 2003.
Ooh, nice.
1-0 to Andy.
I first wrote down 2005, but.
Ooh, now you see how I calculated it, right? Because if you did CRM 3 in 2007, Microsoft used to average around 2 years per release. So and they had this release which was failed, which was at 2.11. So then you count back again, and then 1 was the first official release. So then that's how I got 2004. But I figured, to be honest, I should have actually adjusted for the failed release because they probably spent time on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent working out.
Yeah, close. I mean, if I ever get murdered, Tricia, can you come and solve my murder just in case? Get you and Megan with all her true crime stuff. Megan Barrett, all her true crime stuff. Okay, so Andy, you went to this famous coffee chain, original coffee shop. What is the chain name?
It's Starbucks.
Starbucks.
I'm actually now doubting myself that I went to the original one, but I think I did because it burned down and I think they moved it. I think it's by Pike's Place in Seattle, and I went there with Sarah and Chris, actually, and Auntie as well.
Yeah.
On a lovely day out in Seattle.
Oh, see these dates they have without us.
Sure. Yeah, no, one day.
Back in the good old days when we could meet together, but not next year, but the year after, we can all go to Seattle.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
Cross fingers.
Okay, so question number 3: what was the code name for Dynamics 365, aka
this
version 9?
This is killing me. This is killing me.
I did not get this right.
Any guesses?
The only one I actually remember is, I think, Titan, but I don't even know what that was for. That's the only one I remember.
So it was called Draco.
Really?
Yeah. I
Rubbish.
literally just Googled it today and found like the last few code names.
You're just like on the day of your quiz. You're not more prepared than that.
Hey, you guys are literally on the badger
Mate.
putting slides together. Literally. And then we like look at them and just go, yeah, that's not how you spell that word. That's not how our name is spelled.
And we change it literally as your questions are coming in. Like, type it quickly. Yeah.
You know what I have to do when I did the pub quizzes in person? I would come up with the questions fairly last minute, but on the day I had to fact check them all because of people like Ben, and because what was the answer a week ago is no longer the answer, and there was always a couple of those. So yeah, I did the when I did the quiz in Sweden, I was at like minutes before the quiz still fact checking the answers. So it's got to be done. I'm just going to leave it to the last minute now.
Yeah, I was very nearly dropping in a question of like like a multiple choice question, like with a sales license, what can you not do? But then I thought,
is restricted.
By the time this comes out, you can't do anything.
There's a lot you can't do with just a sales license.
Yeah.
So you know what we should do? We should go on to like, ask Chris with regards to any licensing question.
He loves licensing questions.
Yeah. I actually wanted to create a chat bot for licensing because
great idea.
Yeah.
Actually, never keep it up to date though.
That's the thing. I wanted to basically see if there was a way to scrape the information from the licensing doc. So every day it would just consistently just go there and just go and pull. But
the licensing is not that advanced yet.
Yeah, it doesn't update it anyhow. And then two, it's like it needs to be updated every month at this point.
Yeah.
So maybe in the future. So the hotly contested question.
It's not contested. It's not contested.
Well, as I said at the start, it's Andy. The quizmaster is always right. How many major versions of Dynamics CRM were released publicly?
Should we count them out together?
Sure.
Yes. 1.2. Is it 1?
Version 1.
Version 1.
1.2. 3.
1.2 was released publicly and it was major, but 1.2 is not a major version though.
Released publicly. It was major because it was a big update from version 1. Version 4, 2011, 2013, 2015, 2016, and then version 9, and that's it.
So you're saying 9.
9?
No, so Andy's saying 9. What are you saying, Trish?
No, I have 9 too, but I think I got 9 through a different way. Because I couldn't remember if there was a CRM 2013 or not. Was there?
Yeah.
There was. So I have CRM 1, CRM 3. Was there a CRM 3?
Yeah.
CRM 4, 2013, 2015, 2016, D365 version 9. And then I can't remember how I got the rest, but I got 9.
9. Well, you're both wrong. It's 8 because you have version 1.
No,
version
this
3,
is lies.
4, 2011, 2013, 2015, 2016, version 9. So when you name a solution, as is tested, as is defined by Microsoft, it goes major, minor, version, revision. Major versions that were released publicly, 1, 3, 4.
Yeah, but you see, major version 1 was good for nothing. Version 1.2 was a major release for Microsoft, you see, and that's why it's a major version. I get the major.
I'm Googling this as we speak. I like this after the quiz. I'm allowed. Hold on.
I don't accept that answer.
So, well, you can not accept it.
Half a point.
But no, you're wrong. Quizmaster's always right.
The other side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, it is actually a minor version according to Microsoft blog.
No.
Yeah.
That
No.
sucks.
So I think I'll get a nice message from Ben when this comes out. So last question. When is my birthday? I took it off Twitter, Tricia, so you can't see it that way.
No Googling.
When is my birthday?
Your birthday is when you are 1 year older.
It is. Yes, that is correct. But what month and what date is it?
Oh. It is a month that ends with Y.
No.
March.
March? Andy, what are you saying?
Mate, I feel bad because I'm pretty sure I've wished you happy birthday this year.
Probably.
I can't remember. I'm guessing. I'm going for 1st of August.
1st of August. Trisha, you're the closest with March. My birthday is the 13th of April.
Damn it.
So Trisha gets 1 point for that one. And you got...
Wow.
So is my tiebreaker not
That
really
wasn't a
tied?
tiebreak.
So, well, let's just say that the last question was worth 1,000 points. So Trisha wins.
Quizmaster is always right.
Quizmaster is always right. Thank you very much for playing along, and hopefully people played along at home too. So that was fun. I know why you guys do this now.
Do this all over again.
Yeah. It is good fun.
Summit.
Hey, yeah, exactly. If we can spread the word, like we're
Absolutely.
doing this. We're doing the pub quiz, Trish and I. I don't know if Keegan wants to be involved as well, but we did the pub quiz at Scottish Summit last year, which was fraught with difficulty and chaos. But yeah, we're going to do it virtually this year, hopefully to a much bigger audience. And also, so that's at the end of February, Scottish Summit, awesome quiz, but that'll be virtual. And then actually, if you've not heard about it, there's the South Coast Summit as well, if people are listening and have not heard about it, in October. And that is planned to be an in-person event, and we're going to do it again there.
Nice.
And that's going to be real. And that's going to be hundreds of people, maybe. Who knows?
High fives.
That's great. Yeah, so that'll be fun. I'm becoming better known for doing a quiz than anything else, like professionally. I should stick to that if I could make money doing that.
I mean, we need someone to come look at our CRM. We got this guy Andy Bibby. It's like, nah, he's a quiz master. You wouldn't know anything about CRM. Scottish Summit is going to be amazing in February. Trisha's wearing the hoodie. There's going to be a quiz. There's loads of tracks. Hopefully, I'll be speaking there. Probably you guys will be speaking there.
I'll be there.
You'll be there.
It or not.
The South Coast Summit as well. That's going to be another awesome event. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Any other things coming up or anything you want to plug before we end?
One last thing I want to plug. So obviously we're doing the Power Platform School in March next year, but we do need mentors. So if you are interested in becoming a mentor, please reach out. Yes, Bibbs, you're already a mentor. Like there are people that I haven't asked because they are just, going to be mentors. But if you would like to be a mentor, please reach out and make yourself known. If you also have anyone interested in becoming a mentee, anyone that wants to learn about the Power Platform and they are from a BME background, please reach out to me. We see what we're trying to do is increase the visibility and increase the footprint of BME people within IT, within Dynamics specifically. So please help with that.
Awesome. Bibby, anything from you?
Yeah, no, I've got nothing to plug other than to say that I was thinking this earlier, is that regarding minorities and regarding people that are in the community, like I've never known a more welcoming community. So if somehow you're listening to this and you're interested in getting involved, from whatever background, come along, get involved, attend user groups, chat to us on Twitter, come to the Badger on a Thursday night, whatever it is, get involved because it's really good fun. And one little thing, it's not a plug, but I just want to say to you, MCJ, congratulations on the MVP, which is amazing and very well deserved. I cannot believe you put out a video every single day about Power Automate. That is some kind of record, I reckon, right there within our community at least. And you just spread the love, spread the knowledge for the last how many years? I don't know, at least 4 or 5 years. So well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
consistent and incredibly useful content. It's not just like, oh, you're putting it out for the sake of it, but it's actually useful videos, which is really good.
Yeah, I always say this to people, and it's kind of, I say it because it's me self-deprecating and not wanting to be proud of my achievements, but I'm pretty proud of this. But I probably use the videos a lot myself because I just have a terrible memory.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I can't remember how things work. And the number of times I just open my own YouTube channel and just search for the video I want and then play it and then go, oh yeah, that's how it works. It's just, I'm probably half the views.
Do you ever find though that you recorded the video, then Microsoft changes something and you're like, oh, it doesn't work like that anymore?
So the history of it is I started it and it was called MS Flowvember, and I launched it the 1st of November. The 7th of November was Microsoft Ignite. I think it was Ignite, where they said, oh, and by the way, we're renaming things Power Automate. I'm like, I've already recorded a lot of videos and they all say Flow, Microsoft Flow all the way through. So yeah, all the time. I get messages from people that say, did you know that this doesn't work, what you're showing in the video? I'm like, yeah, Microsoft changed it. But this is how it used to work. I know I can't do this now, but it's, it still works the way it works. And, so yeah, it's, I was going to rename this the MVP show, but I think someone already uses that.
As the MVP show.
Yeah. So, but there's 3 MVPs on this call, which is, I think, the first time ever, because this is my first month. So, but yeah, thank you.
I'm so blessed to actually be on your first show as an MVP.
Yeah.
To be fair, is well overdue. I always thought you were already, but
yeah, I'm happy about it. So now I'm gonna sleep for a little while and stop making videos. So except for this one that I'm making right now.
I did see that. A little bit of irony is that I think you announced, you've done it for a year, and I was like, holy crap, you posted the video day for a year, but now I'm going to stop. And then literally you got the MVP straight after that.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that. I was like, should I post this? Should I? I'll post it. It's fine.
You got to do it. Remember, the reason you're doing it is because of what you want to do, and not because of any MVP or anything. So you did something amazing for a whole year. And the thing is, I think I mentioned it to you when you said it. You're doing so many other things as well. It's not just the videos, but you are doing a lot. People don't necessarily know what you're doing on the outer things, but you do a lot. So you just need to keep doing what you are interested in doing and what you want to do. Just keep adding value. That's pretty much the main thing.
Yeah, totally. As far as the MVP goes, it's kind of the icing on the cake, isn't it? It's do it because you want to do it and because you want to pass on your knowledge, not to achieve that goal, because it's not a goal. It's just it's a badge, and then it gives you even more work on the top of it. But you have to be enjoying what you're doing and enjoying sort of passing on your knowledge, and that's why you do it. That's the main reason.
Yeah, it's the same for this. This isn't just another thing to do. And I always say to everyone that comes on the show, if this is terrible, if it's not funny, if there's just no useful content, at least I just get to hang out and talk to my friends for an hour. So that's the thing I enjoy. I enjoyed this bit, and just getting to know you. So that's why I like it. So thank you both for coming on the show and for giving up an hour of your time. So. So check out, I'll link everything in the show notes, so you'll have all the connections, all the events and everything else coming up, and absolutely get involved with Black Minds Matter and the new school. Get involved with the community and just talk to people, and just it is very welcoming, and we always want to help people. So with that, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good to see you, Matt.